Hey friends, welcome back. In this week of the devlog, yes, I decided to ditch Claude Code for Codex and I don't regret it yet. Also, I am using the paid version, the Tailwind Plus version, in one of my projects, and that really boosted my performance. Alright, it was 5 a.m. I was sitting here in this office trying to squeeze any minute that I could in order to get Partyway going and programming a little bit. I asked Claude Code to perform some task. I don't actually remember which one is it, but that simple task, it just forgot to use its own memory. And that was so frustrating. I was so irritated by the fact that I'm counting the minutes every single day that I have available to ship code, and I have yet again to remind Claude Code to do what it's supposed to be doing. So frustrated by that, I decided to look in the internet for other options and to see if other people were having the same problems, because lately I've been having one to remind Claude Code a lot to look in its own memory. Two, I have some custom commands that I was using for Claude Code, and it was just deviating from that very, very badly. So I decided to look into other things. It was the final day of my Anthropic monthly billing. I've been paying for the $200, and I thought, why not, right? Why not explore something different? And I was actually investigating Cursor for a bit and using Cursor, but my usage of Claude Sonnet and Claude Opus would explode that bill a lot. I was actually considering using GPT-5 with Cursor when I saw some people using Codex and being really happy about it. Until that day, until that time, Codex for me was just a cloud tool that we used to use, right? Not a tool that I could integrate with CLI, or that I could use the CLI. I didn't know the CLI existed, I should say. And this works very similar to how you're used to use Claude Code if you are used to do that, right? So you start Codex, you can switch your model, you can type in your commands, paste images, all of that. It has fewer commands than Claude Code, but it works in a very, very similar way. The other part, and the most interesting part to me, was the extension here. I'm using VS Code, and I'll mention why in a second. But what I do like about this is that I have this link to the file, so I can directly go to the files. I can, in the chat here, see the changes very easily. And I can also open the view changes here to open their diff here. And this, like you can with, just like you can with Cursor, you can paste your images and so on and so forth. So today I'm not planning on reviewing Codex, it's just an overview and why I decided to use it. So it fits very well in my flow here. It has some better alternatives than Claude Code has in order to view the differences and what's being implemented. Why I'm using this with VS Code and not Cursor. For instance, one thing I can do is I can select some code here. I have a keystroke here, which is Option Command K, and I add the selected lines to the chat. This can also work in Cursor. But with Cursor, what was happening is, because the extensions have to be on the left here all the time, or at least that's how it's behaving for me, whenever I hit that keystroke, it was trying to select a tab on the left here, and that doesn't happen with VS Code. So that's why I'm using VS Code here. Again, this is not a review of Codex. I might do a more exploratory video and more in-depth review of what I think about Codex so far, but I've been using it and it's been fine. Results of GPT-5 have been very good, if not great. I have yet to receive a message saying that you're absolutely right, which annoys me a lot. I get so upset when I'm told that I'm absolutely right, and that should be obvious for the model or the LLM to know what it's supposed to be doing, right? As I said, I have been paying for the $20 subscription of ChatGPT, and so far I haven't reached the limit of ChatGPT. I only use it in the mornings and a little bit in the evenings, sometimes a little bit during the day, but mostly in the mornings and the evenings. Your mileage may vary on that one, but so far I haven't needed to pay the $200 Pro, which I was willing to if the results were good. And so far, the results have been good. I have had to correct ChatGPT fewer times than I feel like I have been having to correct Claude Sonnet or Claude Opus for that matter. One thing that I noticed though, in favor of Claude, is that Claude Opus is better at writing plans. And what do I mean by that? I just think that the plans for ChatGPT tend to be a little bit on the rambling side, maybe like what I'm doing in this video right now. But I think that Claude Opus has been better at planning. I will try to tweak how I've been planning with ChatGPT, creating some custom commands and custom instructions to see if that's going to improve it. So maybe I will post back on that. Next up, I moved the admin pages of another app that I work on called BGG Rankings from a skeleton UI component library into using the Tailwind Plus, the paid version of Tailwind library of components. What is BGG Rankings? BGG Rankings is an app to vote on your favorite board games. I participate in a board game community, a solo board game community, and once a year in that community, each one of us consider the best solo board games in that given year. That process of voting used to be manual. Last year, I built an app, BGG Rankings, to help with the process and automate it so that people can vote through an application instead of direct messages as it was before. Now, that was a very simple version 1.0. It just supported that voting, that ranking. And what I decided to do is improve on that a little bit, creating an admin section that allows me to better maintain that. Last year, what I did was I entered on the Postgres database the entries that I needed for the ranking to be available. Now we have a better admin. And I use Skeleton UI for the front-facing part of the app. I'm going to show you quickly what I mean here. So I do have a landing page here. My participation on the rankings, this is in production here. I just have a temporary one that people were using to test. So this is what I voted for last year. In the admin section, I was also using Skeleton UI. But due to the fact that Skeleton UI has fewer documentation and fewer examples, the LLMs were having a hard time helping me build these UIs. So I decided to jump in and just use the Tailwind CSS or Tailwind UI plus components, right, that we have here. So there's a lot of components that we can use here. And I've been using this as is. This is standard Tailwind and standard Tailwind components locally here with my changes, right? So I can create rankings now. I can manage the ones that we have and so on and so forth. Point being here is that I'm using straight up Tailwind CSS components. What did this do for me? Now my development is way faster. The fact that I can grab a simple code from that documentation, paste it in, and tell the LLM to use it, ChatGPT in this case now, it's speeding up the process a lot. Not just that, ChatGPT and Claude for that matter knows way better how to use pure Tailwind than Skeleton UI, which is a less known library. That has sped up the process of development a lot. I've been adding way more features to the admin as I was planning to do. Tailwind CSS looks great. It looks standard. That's fine. Everybody recognizes that. But that's also, I think, a feature on itself. The final thing I want to mention about the Party app is about time zones. Quick demo of this. Whenever I'm creating or editing an event and I select a date and select a time, now I keep track of the time zones, right? Before I was not keeping track of that. That requires some setting up. For instance, now I have a settings page that is not very polished yet. I'll get there, but I detect your time zone when you first sign up. You will be able to change this eventually. But I use this information now to create or edit events that require a start time and possibly an end time. And that's it for the devlog this week. Thank you for watching. And if you're interested in more of my videos, check this one here. It's the latest one that I posted. Thank you very much. Until next time.